things that we hear about with kitchens is the design triangle. And I said, so we're really getting beyond that at this point. Where are the locations that you want? How do you want to use appliances? What are you talking about? A great example is a microwave. You can have a microwave that is actually above a cooktop that also works as a hood fan. You can have a microwave in a wall with a bank of appliances like over an oven or something like that. In fact, you can also have your microwave in an island where either you have a front door where you've really got to bend over to get into your microwave, or they actually have drawer microwaves now that are really cool that you pull out and you can just set items into, which is really nice. The only downside of that is it's a little harder to clean because you're cleaning kind of down into a drawer. So those are things you want to think about as you're designing your kitchen and thinking about how you're going to use it. Because islands are becoming so important, some people talk about wanting to have maybe a sink in an island, or do you have a sink in an outside wall? What I always recommend is this: put the sink where you feel you're going to have the most ease of use and it's going to be the least intrusive. But some people say, hey, I want to have my sink in my island because that's where I'm looking out into the great room or space like that. What I always say, if you're going to do that, go with a 4-foot deep island so that the space behind the island, behind the sink, on the back side becomes really usable, because the sink will take up 18 to 24 inches, and if you just have a 36-inch deep island, you'll only end up with 12 inches behind your sink, which isn't really enough space to have like a place to sit and eat and that kind of thing. Wherever you place your sink is you want to have a view out. You don't want to have an abrupt situation with cabinets. So if you've got your sink in your island, that's great. You've got open space. However, if you've got a sink on an outside wall, I always recommend putting a nice window in there. Sometimes people are putting cabinets beside on the outside wall, and then sometimes you have opportunities for shelving, which is really cool, which it opens the space up even more. In addition to even that is, what kind of window do you have above your sink? I always recommend it's easier to have a crank out window rather than a window that you actually have to reach over and raise by hand. It's just easier to operate, less strength, and much more usable. One of the things also with a sink that you want to think about is your high traffic areas is, where's your sink, where's your dishwasher, where's your stove. You don't want them up on top of each other. And it's actually kind of funny, about 10, 15 years ago, people were having kind of three-sided islands, and they were putting the sink in kind of the center quarter of the island. In fact, that's what I have. And the problem is that only one person can use the sink if the sink is on an inside corner. So I always think having a sink on a straight bank of cabinetry on an outside wall or a straight island is much more usable, and you don't create a traffic jam. And so those are things you want to think about as you're laying out your kitchen and how you're going to use it. Storage and cabinetry and pantries is always really important. As you're laying out your cabinets, you're thinking about where your plates, your pans, and also a lot of your dry goods are going. What size of pantry do you want? What are you going to keep in that pantry? And so you can have a pantry that's built in with a bank of cabinets. You can actually hide a walk-in pantry behind a couple of cabinet doors that look like it's part of your kitchen, but you're actually walking through to a larger pantry, which is really nice. Also, if you're doing a cooktop and you don't have an oven underneath it, I highly recommend nice drawers under the cooktop, because then that's where you can place pans, and that's where you're right there. You're not moving as much in your kitchen, and it makes it really convenient. Yeah, so another thing is, you're thinking about kitchen layout is lighting. You're thinking about task lighting, so lighting for underneath your cabinets. Where do you need that? How do you want that? Also, your lighting over your island, maybe some recessed lighting put in opportune locations, so when you're standing working in front of an appliance, is the light behind you or is it beside you, so that you're not actually creating a shadow. And so those are things you want to think about as you're planning lighting for your kitchen to make your work environment better, and also to make the general feel of the space nicer.